This podcast is sponsored by the book Positive Humanism, a Primer by Bo Bennett, PhD. Discover the intersection of science and humanistic values to enhance personal and societal well-being. Get your copy today at positivehumanism.com.
Connecting self-care and self-compassion for personal flourishing. Discover how self-care and self-compassion work together to boost well-being through positive humanism and a secular worldview. How self-care and self-compassion are secret partners in your well-being. You ever notice how when you're feeling wiped out or stressed, the first thing to go is the way you treat yourself? Maybe you skip meals, ignore your feelings, or beat yourself up over little mistakes. It's like the moment life gets tough, self-care becomes something you try to squeeze in, or something you forget altogether. But here's the thing, self-care and self-compassion aren't just nice-to-haves. They actually work together in ways that can totally change how you handle stress and bounce back better from challenges. Picture it like this. Self-care is the tangible action, the stuff you do to recharge and maintain your body and mind, like sleeping enough, eating well, taking breaks, or even just saying no to that extra commitment. On the other hand, self-compassion is the emotional attitude you hold toward yourself, treating yourself with kindness when you mess up or feel overwhelmed instead of freaking out or being harsh. These two go hand in hand. You can think of self-compassion as the foundation that makes self-care not just a routine but something meaningful. When you approach yourself with kindness, you're more motivated to actually engage in self-care because you recognize your own worth and value. There's this whole field called positive psychology that studies what makes life worth living and how to help people flourish. Within that field, you find concepts like positive humanism, which emphasizes humanistic values and applied humanistic philosophy, basically focusing on personal flourishing through empathy, dignity, and treating yourself and others well. This framework really highlights how a secular worldview can support these ideas without needing a religious or spiritual angle. What's cool about this approach is that it's practical. When you practice self-compassion, research shows you reduce things like anxiety and depression, and you boost your resilience. That means you're more likely to bounce back when things get rough instead of spiraling. You're also less likely to burn out because you're honoring your needs rather than pushing yourself to the edge. Think about it. If you catch yourself thinking, "I'm so lazy for not finishing that project," self-compassion invites you to flip the script. You might say, "It's okay to be tired, I've been working hard, maybe I need a break or a different approach." That small mental shift opens you up to better self-care practices instead of shutting yourself down. Another thing to keep in mind is the way this links to a secular worldview. You don't have to believe in anything supernatural to embrace the value of compassion toward yourself and others. From this perspective, it's about humanistic values that prioritize well-being and flourishing based on reason, empathy, and shared human experiences, which is really empowering. It's a way to ground your self-care habits in something solid and universally accessible. For anyone interested in exploring this more, there's this fantastic resource. The book Positive Humanism, a Primer, by Bo Bennett, PhD, does a great job of weaving these ideas together and showing how you can start building a life of personal flourishing using these principles. Whether you're into psychology, philosophy, or just want a more fulfilling way to navigate daily life, it's definitely worth checking out. So if you want to start treating yourself with a little more care and kindness, remember that self-compassion is like the emotional fuel for your self-care. When you treat yourself well, you're more likely to stick with habits that make you feel better physically and mentally. It's not indulgence, it's a necessary framework for health and happiness. Learn more about the book and start your journey to flourishing today. Visit https://www.positivehumanism.com and discover how humanistic values can empower your everyday life in practical, meaningful ways.